Oh, hey, welcome back. We're here again, another day. Definitely not doing this every day, but even though it looks like I might be, I'm not. But today, January 15th, 2024, today I'm going to talk about what I call the chicken cam. A few people have been asking me to see the chickens. I have chickens. I currently have 15 chickens. That number varies depending on the season, but whatever the case may be, having chickens is great. I recommend it if you've never done it, but it's a lot of work. It's complicated. I don't know. I think you should. You learn so much about so many things when you have them. I think chickens are very misunderstood. And they've been, but whatever the case may be, they've been great subjects for me, muses, I guess, if you will. I don't really actually like that word. Um, but one summer, year and a half ago, it was summer of 2022. I did a project called the Chicken Cam, which was basically an automated chicken camera that my chickens walked in front of a sensor and it took a photo and it uploaded to the internet and it minted as an NFT. It was a whole thing. And I never really wrote about it. I was going to make a newsletter about it, but I stopped doing my newsletter. So, never talked about it really. But fortunately, that summer, filmmaker named Dean Peterson came over. It's this incredible filmmaker. You should follow him, links below. And he made a video about this project. And honestly, it has a criminally low view count on YouTube. It only has 544 views as of me recording this right now. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's so good. It's so interesting. And, I'm going to play it here and react to it. And I think it's gonna be good. I think you'll enjoy. I'm gonna enjoy it. I don't know about you, but let's get into it and see what happens. Okay, are you ready? I'm gonna hit play.
On a recent weekend, I ventured out of New York City and headed upstate. I took the trip to get away from the hustle and bustle of the big city and for the opportunity to meet one of my favorite photographers. This is Marcel the Rooster.
Okay, stopping it here because that was a funny joke. You got that, right? I mean, you think he's gonna say me, but he says Marcel because that's sort of the conceit of the project is the chickens are taking these photos and it wasn't me. I enjoyed it. Let's continue.
He took this photo, and this one, and this one. He did it using the chicken cam. The chicken cam is pretty simple, but also sort of not. Essentially, it's a DSLR camera that's connected to a motion sensor and flash, which are all housed in weatherproof cases. They're hooked up to a Raspberry Pi computer, which runs software that was programmed by Jacob Bajani.
Okay, he's right here. It's simple yet complicated. That's why I really never could write about it. It was like, where do I even begin on this? Teamed up with Jacob, who we just saw, and who's just a genius for this stuff. He programmed the Raspberry Pi. Actually, I have these boards that are custom made that were in the Raspberry Pi that connected the flash and the sensor. I'm gonna roll some B-roll over this just so you can see. But it has the website, our website, our personal website, as well as some inside joke references there that we don't have time to get into, but it's fun stuff. Anyway, let's continue.
When a chicken walks in front of the sensor, the camera and flash go off, capturing a photograph, which the Raspberry Pi then uploads to the website chicken.photos. The photograph is posted there, sent to the Twitter account @chickens. No idea how Marcel got that primo handle.
I'm going to tell you how I got that handle. I had made like a joke tweet. I knew we were working on this project a year prior to actually launching it, and we saw that @chickens was available. It was like a suspended account. So I just tweeted this, I'm putting it right here. And sure enough, someone from Twitter DM'd me and was like, I think I can help you figure this out and get it for you. Sure enough, a couple months later, he got it for me. So that was it. I mean, sometimes when you just say some random stuff on the internet, you never know what's going to happen. But shout out to that guy. I don't want to say his name, even though he doesn't work there anymore. Um, but, you know, thank you for that. That was amazing. Let's continue.
And to top it all off, a handful of the photographs are then minted as NFTs and sold.
Just real quick, I know NFTs are a controversial topic. There's a lot of emotions here. I mean, whatever you think of it, you know, I agree, and you have every right to feel that way. And, you know, some people think it was good, some people think it was bad, some people weren't sure, didn't even get it. I was in it for, 2 years or so. I got it, but did I get it? I don't know, sort of. Yes, no, but maybe. Does it matter? Not really, sort of. It was fun for me, but maybe not for everyone. And that's okay. Let's continue.
It's pretty simple, but also kind of complicated. This is Noah Kalina. He's Marcel's assistant. He helps out with odd jobs around the property and assists Marcel in this operation. Marcel keeps him pretty busy around the studio. Now, I know what you're thinking. There's no way chickens are smart enough to create art. I thought so too. I mean, where else did the term bird brain come from? But it turns out, chickens are much smarter than we give them credit for.
I'm going to jump in here and say, yes, this is very true. Chickens are way smarter than you think. This is why I think you should get them so you can experience this for yourself. But basically, you know, I wouldn't say they're geniuses or anything. I mean, what animal is? I mean, I guess there are some really smart animals. But if anyone ever says to you, chickens aren't smart, just say to them, they're wrong. Let's continue.
Scientists have shown that chickens are behaviorally sophisticated and may even have a good sense of time, which is more than I can say for some of my human friends. Studies also show that chickens can discriminate among other individuals and can even exhibit Machiavellian social interactions, i.e., do not with Marcel.
Yeah, don't do that.
They were even worshipped in Britain in the Iron Age between the 5th and 3rd centuries BCE. So maybe they were gods, but how about photographers? According to the chicken.photos website, yes. It explains that, quote, the chickens are using an input device, the motion sensor, to invoke a computer function, the capture method on the Pi, which invokes a series of events that result in the photograph being taken, uploaded, and shared. This is identical to a human being using an input device, tapping a button, to invoke a computer function, the post method on Instagram, which invokes a series of events that results in the photo being taken, uploaded, and shared.
Yeah, right? I mean, that makes sense, doesn't it? I think totally. I mean, right? Let's continue.
Marcel does make a good point, and in the process, calls into question a fascinating aspect of art, which is intention.
We've talked about intention here, haven't we? I think we did. And I think, let's consider that.
I feel like some people view art as a person sitting down in front of a canvas and executing some preconceived vision, like a portrait or a landscape. And the success of the piece, or its very validity as art, stemming from its faithfulness to that thing. But there's a lot of great art that leaves room for randomness, chance, or unknowable forces. Walter D. Maria has a piece in New Mexico called The Lightning Field, which consists of 200 steel poles in a field that invite lightning strikes, which does or doesn't occur at the whim of Mother Nature.
Have you ever been there? I have. I didn't see any lightning, unfortunately, but maybe I'll go back one day.
Or how about something like Marina Abramovich's Rhythm Zero, which involved Abramovich sitting in a chair in front of 72 different objects and allowing the audience to do whatever they wanted to her with any of the objects.
This is kind of unrelated, but did any of you ever go, did you see it when she did The Artist is Present at MoMA? I went to that show and I saw her sitting there in front of other people, and there was a long line to do it. It was very popular. And I decided the line was too long, so I didn't wait and do it. And there's actually not a day that goes by that I don't regret doing that. I mean, just those photos of those people sitting in front of her. I just really wish I did it. And man, I don't know. Anyway, let's continue.
Or how about this? I made it using an AI art generator. I just put in the words drunk clown and it spat it out. All that aside, I just really love these photographs. There's such a sense of drama and action in them. They remind me of some of my favorite street photographers.
This is so funny and so smart, and it shows that Dean really kind of knows about photography and um, just choosing Bruce Davidson like this, finding compositions that are similar. It's just, it's amazing. I just I love that he did this. It's great.
There's a certain unguarded, random serendipity to them. After spending all this time looking at Marcel's work, I knew that I had to have one of these NFTs. I had, in fact, never bought an NFT before, so I figured this would be the perfect foray into crypto. The NFTs mint for about 0.05 ETH, which, at the time of my writing this, is roughly $85, which is pretty affordable. But the problem is, these NFTs sell fast. Most of them are sold mere minutes after being minted.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of the most incredible aspects of this project during that summer was sort of how popular it became and how sort of coveted these new random minted photos were. And people actually made bots to do it. You know, it almost made it not fun because it was like normal people couldn't act fast enough to compete with a computer doing it. But, you know, it's just kind of what happened. I mean, you know, part of me hated it, part of me loved it. I was conflicted. But yeah, I mean, that's that.
And they go up at unpredictable intervals. Some days there's 5 for sale, and others there's none.
I don't really remember why this was the case. I feel like there might have been well, I remember there were a lot of technical problems that I was having all throughout the course of this project. So I'd always have to be fixing something or tinker with the connections to make sure it was working correctly. And I might have just given myself that break to figure it out and make sure everything was working. Also, I think there was just an aspect of like not wanting to flood the internet with just millions of random photos. So I just wanted to space it out over time.
So I set about trying to get one. I checked the site constantly. I set an alert for the Twitter account, which gave me a notification when one went live. But even that wasn't fast enough. I even thought about bribing Marcel with some premium chicken feed to give me a heads up when one was about to drop. But I didn't want to get indicted for insider trading or whatever.
That's a funny joke. If you were involved in that time on Twitter and seeing what people said. Let's continue.
For days and days, I tried really hard to buy one of these NFTs, and I couldn't. It was even starting to affect my sleep. Finally, I gave up. And just as I began to fall into a pit of despair, something happened. Noah texted me a photo. It was one of the images that the chicken cam captured while I was filming Marcel at work. I like to think that Marcel took it of us to commemorate our time together. And to me, it's better than any NFT.
It wasn't that great. I mean, I enjoyed that. Sometimes the way he wrapped it up like that, where really it's the journey is the destination, right? It's not really about owning something. It's about experiencing something in time, and having that connection. Man, I can't thank Dean enough for making that video. I will cherish it. I hope other people, the people who've seen it, enjoyed it and become curious about what happened with that project, which I've never really talked about. There is one interview that Jacob and I did. I'll put it in the description. That project was between June 3rd, 2022 and August 22nd, 2022. Took thousands of photos. You can scroll through on that chicken.photos website. I think I want to make a book of it. There's some really great shots in there, so I think it could be a fun book, and you know, I'll probably talk about it here. So that's that. That's today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks again for coming. Do the thing, like, subscribe, tell your friends, or do nothing at all. Just hold it. Sometimes when things aren't popular, they're better, right? Like, why tell anyone about it? Just only you know you can have it. That's how I used to think about art. Like when there was like a band that I liked, I didn't want other people to get into them. I don't know why. Maybe things have changed. So anyway, hope to see you tomorrow. Maybe, maybe not. Probably. I don't know. We'll see. Talk to you later.